For number 12, we want to determine the domain of the function. So we want to see what numbers we would not be allowed to plug in for x. We would not be allowed to plug in any numbers that would make the denominator equal 0, since you can't divide by 0. And those only two numbers would be 0 and 9. So our choice must be D, all real numbers except 9 and 0. You can omit 13 and 14 and 15. If we take a look at 16, we want to find all real zeros of the polynomial. So since we can't factor this polynomial, we use the factors of 32 to test and see if they are zeros of the polynomial. So since negative 2 is in every single one of these answers, we're definitely going to try negative 2 because hopefully that should work. So I have a 1, a 10, a 36, a 56, and a 32. So if I drop down the 1, I'll get a 1, negative 2, 8, negative 16, 20, negative 40, 16, and then a negative 32. So I have negative 2 is definitely a 0. So now we want to try one more number. So we will try negative 4. So if I drop down the 1, I have 1, 4, 4, and negative 16, which is 0. So now I can take my x squared plus 4x plus 4 and factor it to find my remaining zeros. So it looks like I have two more zeros at negative 2 and negative 2 again. So the choice would be C. We have 3 zeros at negative 2 and 1 at negative 4. For number 17, we want to use polynomial long division. So I put the c minus 7 on the outside of the division house and c cubed plus 0c squared plus 0c minus 343 on the outside. So I want to ask myself, what do I need to multiply c by to get c cubed? And that would be c squared. And then I want to multiply through by that. And then change the signs and add. And drop down the 0c. And then I would need to multiply by a 7c to get a 7c squared. Then I want to change the signs. Negative 7c. Oops, that's a 49. There we go. And then I would have a negative 49. And then if I change the signs, I end up with a remainder of 0. So my answer would be c squared plus 7c minus 49. Sorry, that's a plus 49, which would be choice D. Number 18, we want to identify the graph of the quadratic function. Since we have x squared minus 1, we know that it must be a quadratic. And since the minus 1 is in the back, we know that it shifted the quadratic down. And it must be facing up since it's positive. So it must be choice A. In number 19, we want to identify the polynomial function that has zeros at negative 2, 1, and negative 1. So I'm going to take those zeros and I'm going to put them back into the factors of the polynomial where we would have gotten those 3 zeros, which would be x plus 2, x minus 1, and x plus 1. I'm going to FOIL together x minus 1 times x plus 1 first, because we just get x squared minus 1. And if we FOIL those together, we'll get x cubed plus 2x squared minus x minus 2, which would be choice C. And for the last problem, we want to find the horizontal asymptote of the graph 4 over x minus 9. Since the degree on top is smaller than the degree on the bottom, we automatically have a horizontal asymptote at y equals 0.